Burns, you look a little different. You look a little bit different, but welcome in here
I do know a
to
similar
episode.
amount about Illinois State basketball, though.
No. Welcome to episode number 158 of Burns and Berman. I've decided a long time ago that I am just gonna keep track of the episode numbers. Like we're just like it's gonna be episode number 2380, and we're gonna know. Like I'm gonna have.
I think that's on pace to happen in like the year 2380.
Not really. We do 3 times a week.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But yes, Burns is sick. So he is unable to join us, but Sam Federman is here and he is going to be filling in. We have a good amount to talk about here. It's obviously the start of Super Bowl week as well. But in terms of NFL news, we had a pretty huge piece of NFL news break this morning, and that is that Myles Garrett finally might be leaving the AFC North. Oh, it would be beautiful. Now, we have seen this play out a million times. Guys request a trade. They wind up not going anywhere. That's entirely possible. The Browns have straight up said, we're not trading him. But part of me thinks that this might be a different kind of situation where I actually could see him on a different team next year, where he is so fed up with the malpractice of the Cleveland Browns of just like get me out of here type of a thing, where he's made up his mind. I'm not playing for you anymore. Figure it out. Because I believe his contract is up after next season.
The Browns, obviously, like when you have a player like Myles Garrett, you do whatever it takes to keep him around because he's he's got 100+ sacks in like 7-8 seasons.
Yeah,
he's going to
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer one of these days, if he stays healthy, obviously.
Right.
But the Browns as an organization are kind of unable to do an organizational reset because of the Deshaun Watson contract.
Who is probably not going to play next year either because he tore his Achilles.
And at that point, you are struggling with the you see what Myles Garrett is thinking here. Like, there's not much of a chance that this team competes.
I saw a report Joel Bitonio might be retiring because he doesn't want to do a rebuild.
Yeah, why would he? He's what, 31, 32?
Yeah, probably around the 32, 33, let's say. He
is 33.
33.
Yeah, and
so
turning
now,
34 in October.
Now we get into Football Watcher's question here. Where we go, because we talked about this. If you're a team like the Patriots, for example, you are not willing to give up the price it's going to cost to get a guy like Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Obviously, he doesn't want to go to a rebuilding team anyway.
And like the Patriots are definitely in a better spot organizationally than the Browns, considering they don't have a bad quarterback on a ridiculous contract.
Right.
But the first round picks are too valuable to the Patriots at this point in time, given how much they need to keep building their roster, which is also part of the reason why for the Browns, first round picks are going to be so valuable to get back, because they need assets to start building this roster back up.
And those assets will be on rookie contract as well.
The problem with that is that once Deshaun Watson's contract is up, you're going to have to start paying those assets.
Right.
And then you're in a real struggle. And that Watson contract really sets them back.
Unbelievable.
It's the worst contract in sports.
Yeah. And it's probably the worst. Honestly, I think it's the worst trade of all time.
It's easily the worst trade of all time when you combine the ethical perspective into it.
Yeah, that's a good point. You just combine that into it. But the list of teams that he can go to starts with the list of teams that will be willing to part with 2+ first-round picks. If you are not a team that can not afford to lose those picks, you're not getting them. Because it's going to be a team like the Lions, a team like the Bills. Those are the teams I'm looking at. I think those are the two most likely.
I think Buffalo should do whatever it takes.
Buffalo and Detroit, to me, are the teams that make the most sense.
Because that Buffalo defense, it feels like they need another jolt of star power in it.
Yeah.
I think we were discussing this last week, that like that defense just hasn't been as consistent and as feared as when they had the superstar safety duo, and they really lack star power on that defense. Myles Garrett completely changes how you game plan.
You talk about getting over the hump. Let's put it this way. He is going to be, if he switches teams, this is the best player in the NFL that will be on a new team next year.
No doubt.
There's no player in the NFL that is better than Myles Garrett who would potentially become available.
I can't think of anybody who would.
No. Philly is another option I could see. But like, those are the types of teams. If you are not a piece away from a potential Super Bowl, if you are not a team that couldn't theoretically win the Super Bowl without him, you're not doing it. You need to be
the Bears did that Khalil Mack trade in obviously different circumstances back in 2018 before their window quote unquote opened. Their window was 1 year because they didn't have the quarterback and they didn't have the offense and they didn't have the coach. But that's the type of foresight for the Bears in that sense. What team do you think could try and open up what team do you think could try and fast forward to their window with a trade for Myles Garrett? Who could be that 2018 Bears swooping in for Khalil Mack? And obviously that was a completely different trade.
So we're talking a team that is kind of mid.
Not necessarily mid, but like a year or two early.
The Raiders.
Interesting.
Pair him and Max Crosby up.
That would be the single most devastating edge rusher duo.
Denver.
It's interesting.
The Bears. Actually, what you just described is the Bears.
Yeah, second-year quarterback.
You actually perfectly described it.
Second-year quarterback, new head coach. That was Nagy's first year, 2018, right?
Yeah.
That's really
that would be the answer to that question. Like, perfectly. The answer would be Chicago.
What's their pick situation?
Well, here, another interesting part about the draft this year that no one's talking about. 32 picks in the first round. Every single team has their first round pick. No teams have traded their first round pick this year, at least yet.
Really? That's crazy.
So every single team has their original pick.
So nobody has two either.
Nope. Nobody is two, and nobody is not in the position that they were this season.
First time that's happened in how long? Obviously, it's not going to stay that way.
It's been a long time.
Trade. But that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, what were the draft trades last year that like made it so this is the case? Were there?
Well, there weren't very many on day one.
Yeah, that's the
there were very few made on day one, and there weren't any huge players that got traded for first round picks.
Yeah, we didn't have any of those massive ones this year.
Yeah. And what's interesting about the draft this year is we kind of start getting into the cycle, and I'm starting to listen to some stuff about it, watch some stuff. is I heard someone on a podcast, I think it was a PFF podcast, where it was there's a lot of teams that you can look at to potentially trade down, but there's not very many teams you can look at that would want to trade up.
I think that with this particular draft class, I would agree with that. I think that the top end talent in this draft, there's enough question marks just around all of the top tier of this class and position, and also positionally, it's not lined up with what everyone needs.
Because that's the thing people are talking about is like, well, in order for you to trade down, that means someone's got to trade up.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think somebody could theoretically try and like if someone truly believes that Ward or Sanders is their quarterback of the future, I don't know who would believe that. I don't think either of them is a piece that is like a. I'm less confident in those two being franchise quarterbacks than what we've seen coming out of the draft recently, and but if there's a team out there anywhere that might need a quarterback and thinks that one of those two guys is a franchise quarterback, they should do what it takes to get him.
Yeah.
Is that team out there? Probably not.
What we were gonna do, and we can just do with you, is our first mock draft of the year was supposed to be today with me and Burns. Let's just do it, me and you. I just got it pulled up.
All right, you're gonna have to carry this a little bit because I have not done a ton of research, but
I have not either. I don't like. Yeah, no. This is. I'm very, very. Yeah, we're still. Oh yeah, the NBA trades.
Okay, yeah. Do we have to get into that first?
How much time you got?
I mean, we can get into it. I got time.
Let's go. Let's get into this.
I have more time than I said I had earlier.
Okay. Luka to the LA Lakers. Oh shit.
I was watching Gonzaga St. Mary's, obviously, and I was like, I had an eye on it. It didn't have me enthralled like some game like the UConn Marquette game did. Because I mean I am a UConn fan, so like, but the Gonzaga St. Mary's game, it was a long day of basketball, and that was like the last game that I was watching. And then I see this pop up on my Twitter feed, and I was just so confused.
I screamed.
Like, my first reaction wasn't that he got hacked. It was just like, what the hell is going on? Like, this doesn't seem right.
I had to read it twice.
But the first time somebody, like, the first thing that I saw was like, oh yeah, he got hacked. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely what happened. Like, and by the way, would have been the best hacker that we've seen from this. Like when Jeff Passan got hacked on the lockout day a couple of years ago, it was like crypto guys. Like nobody's ever done a good hack of one of those guys. This would have been the first one.
Yeah, that would have been like, because that's the way to do it. You're not going out here and promote your scam. No, you're going to report just a random trade that did not happen.
The fact that it was literally out of nowhere, the fact that it was that under wraps, nobody knew about it.
Including Luka.
This is the type that is, from a scoop perspective, Shams did, like, just the fact that it took the rest of the league like 7 minutes to like confirm.
Yeah, they're like, wait,
a trade of that magnitude. Like, what a job by Shams there. He locked that down.
My other my opinion on it is yes, but I think it came together so quickly that they didn't have much of a time for it to get out. I mean, there was some, but my guess is it happened so quickly.
The amount of people that are just hanging around these.
Yeah, of course.
This was a power move by whether it was the new ownership from the Mavs or from Nico Harrison himself.
Yeah.
It was not a move that was that they wanted to run by a ridiculous amount of people.
No.
In their front office, because it was clearly a power play in the Mavs organization. My gut tells me it has more to do with the new ownership group than it does with Harrison.
I've seen people saying this where
Like,
the NBA made a call and we're like, our ratings suck. We need a jolt.
I
don't believe it either.
I don't buy that.
Michael texted me something kind of along the lines of that.
I think
which is a very Michael opinion to have.
It is. It really is.
That's a very Michael opinion.
It's like the fringe conspiratorial stuff.
Yeah.
That, like, I think sports fans are inclined to make that to have that opinion when they don't like what happened.
Right.
And they can't really process it. It's the same logic that they've gone to with the Chiefs.
Yep.
I don't
exactly
think that, like, this world isn't like you think Adam Silver took Nico Harrison to a water park and said, we need to make a splash.
That's a great reference. But
I think for the Lakers, though, it's going to be a really weird dynamic.
It's going to be weird LeBron being the second best player on his team.
Yeah, but like just also like the LeBron-Luka dynamic, like how will that, like, it'll work because those two are unbelievable basketball players.
I don't think they're done, though. I think they're going to make...
I mean, they need a big.
Like, Jackson Hayes is not going to be their center.
Texas legend. They need a big. They need a big.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was Kenny Beecham said, like, the move of, even though you're getting rid of a player for... He didn't add this part in here, but I will add it in here, where it's like you're getting rid of a player. It's technically a downgrade for player, but in terms of need, it makes sense, where he threw out Austin Reeves for like Walker Kessler.
Oklahoma legend.
Where it was like Austin Reeves is better than Walker Kessler, but the Lakers need a guy like Kessler who can just be a good big.
Don't the Jazz like love Kessler?
I think so. It was,
and the Jazz have like a bunch of those.
Or this would probably make more sense.
The Jazz have a bunch of those combo scoring guards, like they have Keontae George, they have Bryce Sensabaugh. Yeah. Why would they? I mean, Reeves is obviously a really good player, but I think that Reeves is also old. Like he's old.
Yeah, that was why I said this. Okay, maybe something like this.
I love Connect was my number 3 player in this draft class. I loved him.
Yeah, he's been good.
I did not understand how he fell so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lakers need to make a move. The Mavs, on the other hand,
in the short term, it's not the worst move of all time, but in the long term,
it's not the worst move of all time in the short term because Luka's hurt.
Right. In the long term,
I saw someone point out like what free agent is going to want to go to Dallas now.
Yeah, it's a great point.
Like this organization railroaded not just its best player, not just a future first ballot Hall of Famer, not just a 5-time first team All NBA guy at age 25, but the guy that the franchise's best all-time player took under his wing the second they drafted him.
Right.
Like Dirk loved Luka.
Yeah.
Still does. And like, it's not just betraying Luka, not just betraying his fan base. It's betraying the guy who won you your only championship, and the entire city and that team and just everybody involved. It's
unbelievable.
How is Jerry Jones not the worst executive in Dallas right now?
Everyone's saying like it's the most shocking trade they've ever seen.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I can't
think
of any. There is no other move.
It's the single most shocking sport transaction I can remember.
Yeah.
Because like KD was a free agent. Like we knew that there was going to be KD news. Like
we knew he was going somewhere.
Like there was going to be KD news. there was going to be. I will say the Jay Wright retirement was kind. I would put that on this, not necessarily on this level, but I would definitely say that was probably that's probably the most shocking college basketball moment for me of the last 10 years. Just
Tyreek Hill getting traded to the Dolphins.
But he
because of the fact that he requested a trade and then he got traded like a couple of hours later.
That was crazy.
It was like there were no rumors about it, and all of a sudden Tyreek Hill requested trade. 2 hours later, Tyreek Hill's on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I would say that's up there. And then there,
there aren't many.
I think
but not as much because there wasn't as much. There was build up to it.
Yeah, that felt
this one. This one is a good example.
Yeah,
that's a good example.
I think maybe Baker going number 1. Like I just completely didn't see it coming.
Right. Speaking of it, you want to get into the mock draft now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's get into the mock draft. It's really interesting at number 1. Like usually we kind of have a couple of picks already in. Number 1's a real conversation already with Tennessee.
Because like they need a quarterback. But
right. But is there one that is worth taking? And it's all smokescreen. So I do not take any stock in the Titans being like, we're not going to pass on generational talent. For all we know, they could be talking about Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
Exactly.
Like that, I don't care at all about something like that. But
I think that at the end of the day, this league has always been about the quarterback.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, they end up getting drafted in spots like this.
Their new GM is coming from the Chiefs. I mean, Brian Callahan. It feels like this to me feels like Cam Ward, I would say.
Yes, I would agree.
Move here. We're in agreement? Okay. Cleveland.
Now, another team that needs a quarterback. But can you draft a quarterback with the Watson contract? Can you draft a quarterback with this much draft capital?
How antsy are the New York Giants to move up to 2 if Cam Ward goes number 1? That's my first thought.
I think that they would definitely. I think that the Giants are probably making calls to go as high. Like the Giants are one of those teams that.
Yeah.
They're one of the few teams that I'm definitely looking at as a trade-up candidate.
I think that if the Titans don't want a quarterback,
they would trade.
The Giants will trade up to number 1.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
That's what I think. I think if the Titans want a quarterback, they stay. If they don't want a quarterback, the Giants are going to trade up to number 1.
I'm so mad at Joe Milton. We could have had an extra first-round pick from the Giants because of this. But like, I don't think Cleveland, but they're locked into Watson for 2 or 3 more years.
2, I think.
Yeah, the dead cap after if they were to cut him after 2026, the dead cap, yeah, like there would be like 26 million of dead cap, but like you can kind of, that's a big number. I don't know if you can swallow that though if you have a 3rd-year quarterback,
right?
And you're gonna need to. I think you can swallow that with a rookie quarterback or a 2nd-year quarterback.
Agreed.
I don't know if you can swallow that with a 3rd-year quarterback. But then again, if they take a guy like Hunter or Carter, if they do trade Myles Garrett.
That was what I was going to get
at. If they do trade Myles Garrett, they would go for Abdul Carter.
Right.
And they would probably try to trade down with the Giants so the Giants could get their quarterback, and then they could get a little more draft capital and take Carter.
You want to have the Giants trade up to do it?
Well, are we having Myles Garrett get traded, and to who?
That's true. Because if Myles Garrett's getting traded,
Because
that's
if Myles Garrett gets traded, we're going to see the Trubisky Solomon Thomas thing happen.
Right.
Where the Giants move up above Cleveland.
You want to move Myles Garrett right now?
Well, I mean, I don't know where we're moving him. Should we move him? I mean, I don't want to move him to Buffalo, but like that seems.
Chat. Lions or Bills?
I think that it would make sense for the Browns to move him to the Bills as kind of a fuck you to the Ravens.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you can't get past this team without him, and now you're gonna.
Well, the chat is overwhelmingly.
But, I mean, it's whoever gives the best package. Obviously,
the chat is overwhelmingly decided the Bills.
Yeah, I would agree. Their next 2 firsts, and then
where are you, Buffalo?
Probably a second, and then I would think it would be their next 2 firsts, a second, and a player on a rookie contract.
Let's go. All right, say one more time. You said 2 1s.
I would say 2 1s, a 2, and a player on a rookie contract.
And then,
not like a key contributor, but like.
Yeah, I'm looking through the roster right now. Let's see.
Like a solid upside piece.
Who the Browns in particular could use.
Who did the Bills take in like the mid rounds last year or 2 years ago that looked good?
Yeah, like let me look at like Bills 2022 draft. Actually, I just thought of a name.
Who?
See what you think about this. Kaiir Elam.
No, he has no trade value. He's awful.
He is so bad.
He's legitimately.
Oh, I didn't even see this in the chat. Someone said this.
Yeah. Elam is awful. He has no value.
We'll throw in like a 4 here.
What are the Browns doing with Elam?
Well, it's help in the secondary. Young guy who has, like, we saw it in college, like, they can trick themselves into thinking that they can fix him.
Hamlin's not on a rookie contract, and he's
right? He is on a rookie deal, I think.
But wouldn't he be a free agent at the end of the year? He was 21
yeah.
draft.
Yeah. He's also a better player than Kaiir Elam.
Yeah, and he would, and the Bills.
Like DeMar Hamlin probably had
the Bills also wouldn't like just throw him in a trade. Like
DeMar Hamlin had a pretty solid year.
But like the Bills also just wouldn't throw him in a trade. Like that doesn't like.
Right. Yeah. There's no reason to do it. Let's do this.
Yeah, and he is a free agent right now.
We're sending him to Buffalo.
Okay, let's do it. And then let's have the Giants move up and give probably a 3rd. What was the Solomon Thomas trade?
Let me look it up.
I think that was a 3rd.
Mitch Trubisky Solomon Thomas trade was. Where is it?
It was.
Here it is. A 1, 2 3s, and a 4. So yeah, it was 2 3. So they also got 67, 111, and 70 in the following year.
What?
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Let's see. The mock draft. I have the draft pick like value chart up. There's a 400 point difference in the value chart, which would equal pick number 50.
Okay. So a 3 and a 3.
So pick 65 is.
How about a 3 and a next year 4?
Yeah. Well, 265 is right here. Would be this.
Yeah.
And what was the number? It was 400, right? Yeah.
Maybe a next year 3.
Yeah. There.
That sounds about right. And this, by the way, could really help set the Browns up for
I did not realize how many picks the Browns have, but they're all
obviously the Browns can't do a full organizational reset with the Watson contract. Right. But
Well, they're actually in a decent position. Looking at all these picks, granted, there's a lot of they're late, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and you can make some like you got to scout well.
Yeah,
you got to scout well. I mean, and Andrew Berry has been such an odd GM through the years. Like he's had,
and he's done so great. And so
I honestly don't fault him for the Watsons. Like that was ownership was obviously a part. Like I don't think that obviously Berry is at fault, but like I don't fault him as much as I would for like it's kind of like the how I would fault Chaim Bloom for the Mookie Betts stuff. Like it wasn't they didn't do the trade because of the GM, the executive, but he still has to take the fall for it. Right. And then the Browns take Abdul Carter.
Yeah. All right.
This is, I mean, I don't think you can pass up Hunter.
Like there is, to me, there is no other option here.
Like you need a tackle, but you cannot pass up on Hunter.
Yeah. No question.
This is where.
So Trent Baalke's gone.
That's correct. Who did they hire?
No one yet. They have an interim.
Okay, so their current.
Oh, they hired Tony Baselli today to be the new president of player personnel.
Okay, so do you think?
Here's what I'm thinking. This is the reason why I brought this up. Because what was Trent Baalke? Athleticism. We want athletes. Well, that mindset is gone. There is a player here. Yep. There's a player here that, come on. Think about it this way.
Yes.
Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, Mason Graham.
Forgot about Armstead.
Yeah. And especially because Armstead was not very good this year.
How old is Armstead now? Like he was what, 2017 draft?
Yeah, I would think like 30.
31, 2015 draft. So he's got how many more years?
They signed him to a big deal. They probably are going to try it. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, they should try and get rid of him. Honestly,
if they have a way to get rid of him, they probably will because
3 year 43.5.
Yeah.
Damn, that is if they cut him, it would be 36 million in dead cap. Yeah, you gotta like.
Yeah, but Mason Graham, I think, regardless.
I mean that's a guy that can step in right away and play ball.
All right, Vegas.
What would WWTBD? What would Tom Brady do?
Yeah. Well,
they hired the
Pete Carroll as well.
Ooh, that's right. I forgot that he's their coach.
Pete Carroll is there. And
so
I know what pick I want to make.
What pick do you want to make?
Because they have a really solid offensive line. I think with the right guy in the backfield.
I mean, hey, he averages 2.3.
Pete Carroll.
He averages 2.3 beastquakes a game. The problem is
Carroll.
The problem is would you give him the ball on the 1 yard line?
Yeah, that's the question.
You know that Brady rips him about that every single day.
All the time.
Like
I'm sure.
No doubt. The GM they hired though is from the Bucks, right?
Yes.
What was he doing before he was with the Bucks?
I forget, but I know he was college teammates in Michigan with Brady.
Oh, of course he was. John Spytek.
To me, Ashton Genty makes sense. If not, I think McMillan is the pick.
Okay, so he was a scout with the Broncos and the Browns when oh my God, was he the head scout when they drafted Johnny Manziel? No, he was not. He was the head scout when they drafted Justin Blackmon. Justin Blackmon, though.
Well, Tedero and McMillan.
They really need a receiver.
They need a receiver desperately, which is why I think, and James here makes a great point. This is an unbelievable.
That is a number. Like McMillan is like a lock it, stop it, forget about it. number 1 receiver. And
this is an unbelievable running back class. where
I also just look at the idea of how are you guarding Bowers and McMillan?
yeah,
That's that duo size-wise, athleticism-wise.
you want to go McMillan?
I think it makes sense.
All right, let's go Teteroa McMillan here. This is an interesting one.
The New York Jets, Jets.
This is a really interesting one, actually.
All right, let me look at their free agency.
Who did they? I forget who they hired. Who's their GM?
They hired
Darren Mogi.
Right. They hired Aaron Glenn as their head coach.
Yeah.
Where did Mogi come from?
That's what I'm looking at right now. The Broncos. He's been in Denver since 2012. Immediately after he stopped playing, he was just been in the Broncos organization.
Interesting. So, what was the connection there?
He got there, and basically he got there when Elway got there, or a little bit after Elway. And it's just started as a scouting intern in 2012. Worked.
Okay, so is there a 6'7" quarterback in this class?
Right. Yeah, corner could work here, and theoretically.
That would I just don't know if you I know we just did it with the Patriots, but I don't know if you they have corners.
Yeah.
Is one of their corners a free agent or something?
DJ Reed.
Oh, he's a free agent?
Yeah. That's why it's very possible.
Yeah, I would think then you could look into that.
Mm-hmm.
And Reed's 29. He's probably getting a multi-year deal somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't really want to give that out.
You want to go Will Johnson here? I could see it.
I like that. I think it would be not to ever say there's. I don't know if that's a safe pick, but it feels safe.
Okay. This is an interesting pick too. Carolina.
I feel a lot better about the Panthers right now than I did a couple weeks before the season ended because of the pricing and stuff.
Agreed. All right.
Do you want to
best defensive player available?
Yeah, I mean that is they were what they were the worst defense and they allowed 534 points this year.
Yeah, they broke the record for most points allowed in the season.
31.4 points per game.
Now, this from everyone who was there felt like this was the best player at the Senior Bowl, is what
he said. Is amazing.
I have not watched him yet, but people were very impressed by Shamar Stewart.
I watched a little bit of Texas A&M this year because they were on. Guys everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Michael Williams could work. Mike Green had the best rep of the week. That's for damn sure. When he just bulldozed Connerly. I haven't watched him yet, but I'm getting Kyle Hamilton flashbacks of just a safety being.
I've loved Malachi Starks since he was a freshman. But I don't think you take a safety at 8 with what the Panthers need.
Yeah,
I don't think Malachi Starks is a defense-changing safety in
the way
on day one. I think he is probably steps on the field as an above-average NFL safety.
Yeah,
but I don't think he steps on the field as a game-changing safety. I
kind of like Shamar Stewart here.
That's what I was going to say. I think Shamar Stewart has the ability to change games.
Let's go with him. New Orleans.
Wasn't there some news today about New Orleans?
Something with the Catholic Church.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
And them helping cover up some shit? I don't know. Or volunteering to I really don't know.
Mickey Loomis has been in this organization for 130 years.
2002. We talked about it the other day.
He is the longest tenured exec in the league.
Has to be.
by
Has to be.
a significant margin, probably.
Has to be.
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, I was about to say. Or Tobin.
Yes.
Tobin.
Oh, that's right. He worked with the Pelicans for a while too.
Yeah, that's right.
Forgot about that.
The Saints are so interesting because they're just like they're the Saints. Like this
They've always been a fascinating drafting team.
This to me feels like Malachi Starks. Or actually LSU. And they need they're looking to replace Ryan Ramczyk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how old is Ryan Ramczyk?
Well, he didn't play at all this year, and they're saying his career is probably over.
He's 30, and
he missed the entire season this year. He was, and like people are like, he's never playing again.
Yeah, I think you could definitely go look at Campbell there.
Now, Will Campbell, there's a lot of people that think he's going to kick inside.
So then, who is there? Who do people think is the best tackle?
I forget who it is. Simmons. Simmons is good. Calvin Banks.
Oh yeah, people love Banks.
But yeah, there's a lot of.
What are Campbell's measurables that people think he's going to?
6'6", 323.
Arms.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I can't find it. That was what it was.
They would be on the first look if it was there, but like.
Yeah. Wait. Not there yet.
I think Campbell would make sense, but
it was arm length. I remember that.
If you want to go Banks, that would also make sense.
I think Will Campbell's the pick.
I haven't watched much of either of them.
Me neither.
The chat seems to think Banks.
Banks.
They kind of whiffed on the last time they took a tackle.
Yeah, like I'll tell you, the Trevor Penning scouting report was dead on. Just dead on. He is exactly what they said. Just big mauler who is a dickhead who will get you 20 penalties a season.
Yeah.
Dead on accurate. He led, I believe he was second in the league in penalties this year and is a solid run blocker.
He had 13 penalties this year. That includes postseason.
I think he had the most like holds though.
Yeah, that would make sense.
We're like none of it. I think we had like 13 penalties and like 12 of them were holds.
That's insane.
Or like it was something like we had
multiple. Well, Laramie Tunsil had 19 penalties, which led the league.
Who did?
Laramie Tunsil.
That's right.
But
he really struggled with pre-snap stuff.
Yeah. Tyler Guyton had 18 in 14 games.
I'm thinking Will Campbell.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Will
Campbell.
You
know more than I do.
The Bears are pissed off about that pick.
Oh yeah. But I think the Bears would be fine with Banks, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking Calvin Banks, no question about it.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one.
This is an interesting spot. This is a really interesting spot, actually.
What if they just say screw it and
what, Ashton Genty?
What if they do that? How good would he be in a Shanahan offense?
That would be. That would be fun.
That's not an organization that would do that. Right. They don't they did it for McCaffrey because he's McCaffrey.
If they do this, Debo's gone.
That would make sense.
Well, there's a lot of people who think Debo's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Debo has been strangely. It just feels like his organization with the relationship has been strained. Relationship with the organization.
It's time for both of them to go somewhere else.
I do feel that way, and he also hasn't been as good. He hasn't been playing up to his potential last.
I think for both sides, just makes sense.
That 2021 season where he was the most, where he was that. That's still, is that not still in there?
Probably.
Can he not be that player that had it was the most dangerous weapon maybe in the sport that year? Well, right. I mean, no, that was a big Tyreek Hill year. So, No, Jefferson was crazy though. Okay, but you get my point.
Yeah.
He was one of the most dangerous weapons. Here's the thing: Debo is also 29. What's Debo's contract?
I don't remember, but I do know that there's a lot of people who think he's a get him out of here type of a guy.
Debo is.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's gonna. I agree with Murphy or Byron Murphy, where
they could use that. They could use that.
I could see James Pierce Jr. I could see Mike Green.
Pierce is good.
I think that Burden's fun. I like that pick just because it's like the fun.
But like, how much draft capital have they invested in receivers over the last few years?
Literally, their first round pick last year was Pearsall.
Yeah, like why would I don't think they are in a position where they need to do that. Like they just did it.
You want to go Pierce?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, this is just so obvious.
Yeah.
If he's there, he's going.
Yep.
If he's still there, boom. All right.
You never would think that the sexy pick is the running back from Boise State.
True.
But hey, that's RBU right there. You've got Doug Martin and Jay Ajayi and now Ashton.
Yeah.
And Ian Johnson was sick too.
Miami's really interesting. But I'm thinking definitely O-line.
Yeah, they need O-line. Simmons.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Boise State isn't the only RBU, but like,
right. This to me is an obvious pick.
What's the pick?
Tyler Warren.
Yeah, that sounds. I think Tyler Warren, like, that's.
I was listening to a mock draft, by the way, and it scared the fuck out of me. You know where they had Tyler Warren going?
Where?
The Bengals.
Oof.
And I was like, shit, that makes so much sense.
Tyler Warren is.
Especially if T. Higgins is gone.
He's a really good player.
Where I'm just really hoping that we're just in a situation where he's just not there at 17. Because the second he said it, I was like, if he's there at 17, he is going to Cincinnati. The second that the Bengals are on the clock, they sprint that pick in if he is still sitting there.
The one thing about Warren,
but I think him to the Colts.
Like, how old is he?
Well, the other thing is, this is a ridiculously good tight end class.
Like, Warren is a 5-year college player.
Look at these tight ends this year.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, not to like get into the whole analytical draft thing, but like Warren is a 5-year college tight end who didn't have more than 500 yards in the season until his 5th year. Like, not a bad thing. I mean, obviously, you like Warren is a terrific player.
Yeah.
But that is just something to keep in mind with him.
Sure. But I think that the Colts take him.
But yeah, like you trust your eyes.
Atlanta, you haven't had a good pass rusher since John Abraham. Mike Green.
I have never heard of Mike Green, if I'm being honest with you.
I haven't watched him yet, but everyone loves him. And he had the best rep of the Senior Bowl.
6'4".
He had a rep of the Senior Bowl that was just ridiculous.
Oh, he had 17 sacks this year at Marshall.
Yeah, no, that was the thing. He was crazy. He was like one of the most productive.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he has to be, considering he was at Marshall and he's projected.
Yeah. Listen. Yes, they need help in the secondary, but they never have a good pass rush. They need to invest in it. They passed on Jared Verse last year, which in hindsight, the Penix pick looked good, but they need to do this. They need to. Or actually, forget Mike Green. You got a guy from Georgia.
Does that do you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just.
I mean, who do you think's better?
I haven't watched either of them. Well, that's not true. I've watched Michael Williams when I watched Georgia games.
I've seen Georgia games.
Yeah.
Williams is very
That's
good.
the thing. I haven't watched Michael Williams, but I've seen him play.
Yeah, like I've seen him play. He's really good.
And he's good, yeah. Let's just take him here.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Arizona.
Arizona's been a weird drafting team over the last few years.
Yeah, very.
Like what go through their picks last. I mean, obviously they took Marv last year.
Yeah.
Who did they take in 23? They took Paris Johnson at 6.
Right. Which has worked out.
Yeah. They did not have a first in 22, and they took Trey McBride.
Right.
And with their second. They in 21.
Monty Austin I mean, he's done well.
In 21, they took Zaven Collins at 16.
That was before Austin Ford got there.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just like looking back at like how they've used their draft, how this team is like set up draft capital wise, or not draft capital wise, like what they've used.
I think if
Collins is a free agent though, did he get? Wait, no, he got extended, right?
Yeah. Wait, no. Zaven Collins.
Yeah.
He isn't that good.
I know he's not that good, but like 2 years. If he's,
I think they did extend him, but I think O-line.
Collins is a guy that like you can have on your defense and he's solid. Like
someone said Jalen Walker. I could see that. Where is he on here? Why is he so low? Where's Jalen Walker?
Damn.
What? Did I just miss him?
I don't know.
Oh, because I didn't have him as a line. I didn't put linebacker. But yeah, he's 52.
I don't know if that's the spot here.
Yeah, no.
What do you think is like the net? Like, I didn't watch a ton of the.
I think trade down because they want to know linemen, and unless they like Membu.
Yeah, who's moving up though? Like
that's what I'm wondering. Well, who wants Malachi Starks?
Or no, is somebody desperate for Burden or
Abuka? Yeah.
Or does somebody like really want Walter Nolan? I know people like him.
Yeah, people. I was about to say people like him.
I remember when he entered the portal,
especially with Cincinnati coming up on the clock. I'm thinking pass rusher. Who wants a pass rusher? I mean, we could.
That's a long way.
That's a long way though.
Like in this draft.
Yeah. Who do they have as the interested team? In division. But
like they're probably going to look to trade down, but if they stick.
Like, I don't see the partner. The Chargers maybe?
Didn't the Chargers trade up like last year?
No, they didn't trade.
I feel
and everyone thought they were going to, and they just stayed put and took Joe Alt.
Or did they traded at some point in the last couple of years?
I'm thinking that I could see the Chargers doing it.
Yeah.
They traded up to get Ladd McConkey.
Right. Yeah. And they definitely could use they could definitely use some of that.
I definitely could see the Chargers doing it. I could see the Packers doing it too, which Tucker points out. Chargers trade up. Do we agree that the pick would be for Walter Nolan?
I think that would make sense.
Me too. Who do you think is a better fit for Nolan, though? Poona Ford's a free agent who had a great year for LA. But like the Chargers, though, a guy like Colston Loveland for the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh.
But like this is also a really good tight end class.
Yeah. But Harbaugh, Colson Loveland.
He took who did he take from? He took two guys from Michigan last year.
Yeah.
But one of them was like 7th round. I feel like that's honest. I feel like that whole deal might just kind of be a little bit like these are all football players at the end of the day.
Yeah. No,
Like Jim Harbaugh recruited guys to Michigan for different reasons than he's drafting in the NFL right now.
And there are plenty of guys that he recruited to Michigan that didn't go there that he really likes.
And there's also plenty of guys that like he didn't recruit to Michigan because it didn't make sense to invest resources in recruiting them versus recruiting a guy that makes more sense for that like because like guys from certain places in the country are more likely to go to certain schools. It's a completely different game versus the NFL draft.
How about Green Bay?
I could like I just don't like ever think of Green Bay like as a. I think over the years we've put Green Bay in so many like mock trade ups.
Well, they traded up for Jordan Love.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. Green Bay.
Who are they moving up for?
Nolan.
Okay. I like that.
Okay, let's go to the value chart. All right. It is what? What are we moving here? 23 for 16 is a 760, and then damn. Okay, so we need to get 240 points here made up, which is pick number 70. So 87 would be 155. So they need about 90 more, which would be 102. Ugh. We'll go a 4th next year.
Okay.
There you go. And then the Packers move up and take Walter Nolan. Okay. I mean, defense is definitely the pick here.
Yeah, you can't invest
unless if like a guy like Tyler Warren is there.
Yeah, obviously, but like you cannot invest in offense, at this point with what they had defensively last year. Obviously,
I love the idea of Malachi Starks. Well, actually, I hate it because I think it's a really good fit.
Yeah, I mean, and they were best defensively when they had
Jesse Bates,
when they had Bates and Bell playing really well,
right?
And they could use some help there. So I think Starks
I agree.
Come in, make some plays. Not a game-changing safety on day one, but definitely will step in.
It's just a good pick.
Yeah. Seahawks.
They're an interesting one too.
Okay.
They're a really interesting one, actually.
I mean, I think basically every team this year is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Seahawks in a mock draft. Offensive line. Actually, there's a guy that actually he's listed as a tackle. I'm hearing Gray Zabel, who is
what a name.
Yeah, Gray Zabel, who is a tackle. They're saying that he is the best center of this year's draft. And they're saying that he's a guy that at the Senior Bowl, he was the best interior lineman. And he's a tackle. But they put him inside for the Senior Bowl, and he was really good.
Okay.
I think that could be a good pick here.
They drafted interior in the 3rd round last year with Haynes, and
well, Connor Williams, their center, retired in the middle
Yeah.
of the year.
And also, like, Haynes was not excellent for them this year.
No.
Because if he was, I would have heard more about it because he's a UConn guy.
Yeah. I think Gray Zabel.
Yeah, Zabel makes sense if you want to go that spot.
That's a center, not a tackle. Tampa. Mike Green makes sense.
Yeah, I think you can go defense.
Yeah, I feel like just Mike Green.
Yeah. Broncos.
Ooh.
Broncos.
I think it's a two-man race. Who would you rather see, Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka?
I don't know. I don't think either of them is like a. I'm not like huge on either of those guys, honestly. I think Burden probably has a higher ceiling.
I think Burden is a guy that they
like. I think
it depends just how much they like Marvin Mims. If they like Marvin Mims in kind of that role, then they can go Egbuka. If they want a guy, if they don't really like Mims that much and they were just using him, then Luther Burden to me. I think it depends on how much they like him. Where I think Egbuka is a better complement to Sutton if they like Mims. If they don't like Mims, then the guy to complement Sutton is Luther Burden.
I mean, Mims had 52 targets this year in 17 games. If they really liked him enough to...
No. At the end of the year, though, he was their guy. He was
getting like 5, 6 targets a game at that point towards the end of the year. Like, if
he had, let's put it this way, Sam. He had...
No, I'm looking at the stats right now.
Yeah.
Is that keeping you from drafting a guy in the first round?
No.
That's what I think Burden.
Yeah, agreed.
Pittsburgh.
Right.
So Pittsburgh was...
I think Benjamin Morrison is the slam dunk pick here. They need corner help bad.
Agree.
They also, though, need receive. Here's the thing with the Steelers. Here's their problem. They have one good corner, nothing else. One good receiver, nothing else. Their tackles, you did draft a one last year in round 1. He played one game in Faltanu, so you don't really know what you have in him. But the other tackles, but Broderick Jones has been awful, and Dan Moore Jr. is a free agent, and even if he wasn't, he's not good. So you got the top 3 guys.
And yet we look at we say all that about a football team, and we don't. And like the quarterback situation has been up in the air ish for the last couple of years, and yet they went 10-7.
Right. Well, because the thing is, they have one good receiver, but no one else. One good corner, no one else. Potentially a tackle, but nothing else. Where they need more depth. I think Egbuka and Morrison, though, is really the question. Where do you want to prioritize helping out Joey Porter Jr. or helping out George Pickens?
I think Steelers have always been like they will be an organization that wins by defense.
And also, they are an organization that has hit on later round receivers.
Correct.
So Morrison. Chargers. Flirted with them. Moving up. Imagine Jack Sawyer playing for Jim Harbaugh.
That would be so funny.
The Mr. Ohio State goes to the Chargers.
That's so funny. Yeah, he's from Columbus.
Yeah.
If you can't beat him, join him type thing for him.
This, though, I mean, this does I love this idea. I really do.
You think that would be forcing it? I mean, he's obviously awesome.
No, I think it's a really good fit.
Let's do it.
And they need tight end help bad.
They do.
Really need a tight end.
They need, like, obviously they hit on McConkey being really good out of the slot, but like they could certainly use like a security blanket that can also make a play as a big.
This to me really makes sense. It's not just
they could use a bigger guy in the pass game too.
I really like this idea,
especially considering like Johnson was playing a little bit better on the outside down the stretch.
Yeah,
I think this could they could be figuring something out with this weapons group.
Arizona moving down, and now, well, they have Paris Johnson, but you need another tackle.
Yes,
Membu. Paris Johnson is their right tackle. He's a right tackle also. Theoretically, you can just switch him over, but that could work.
What other tackles are out there?
Let's see. Josh Connerly, who is a left tackle. I could see that. Josh Connerly.
Okay.
Let's do it. Minnesota.
Minnesota. So,
Sam, I got one.
What do you got?
Matthew Golden. Jefferson Addison.
I don't know how to react to this.
Matthew Golden.
But damn.
Like that.
Like
I could so see it.
Is that like how high up on the list of needs do you think that is though?
Maybe they're like they don't need it at all. They don't need it at all. Not even a little bit.
I guess like
but if like I just see a world where they just like fall in love with him and just like imagine this offense.
I mean,
like
it would be pretty wild.
Like let's help out JJ McCarthy as much as possible.
Like I'm also so curious what happens this offseason with Sam Darnold.
I think it's the single most interesting thing in this entire offseason.
Because like he is clearly a starting quarterback somewhere.
But he also played so terribly in the last 2 games. But he was also so good for all the other ones.
Like he is so clearly good enough for some team to give him a shot as the starter.
Yeah. If we're talking a move that makes sense, I agree with Byron Murphy here. Tyreek Williams. Like that makes sense.
It does. I agree. But I do really, and I think I would go Williams.
Yeah.
But you do bring up a really fun point.
Yeah. Roger Goodell says the league is exploring the possibility of establishing a professional flag football league for men and women. That's not surprising, but interesting. Houston.
No way. The umpire at the umpire perfect game a couple of years ago got fired for sharing betting accounts with a friend who bet on baseball.
What?
Though there is no evidence Hoberg himself bet on games or manipulated any that he worked. He also deleted messages central to MLB's investigation. What the hell?
That's shocking.
Hoberg's like, I'm pretty sure Hoberg has been one of the best umpires over the last few years.
Wow. Well, then clearly he wasn't manipulating games.
Scorecards is down. Never mind, it's not down.
All right. Houston. They're a best player available team.
Yeah, I agree.
Where just who do they like? I don't know, like, which is probably Ibuka, right? Probably. Who could trade up here in front of the
I mean, I
Rams and
think,
Ravens?
and it also makes sense with Stroud.
Yeah, it does. It's a good point. You want to do it?
Go ahead. Let's
All right.
do it.
LA.
The Rams.
Membu makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of feel like that was all right. I have not really watched him yet. But as of right now, the guy that I want just so happens to be the top player here because he just gives off Raven vibes. Just Jack Sawyer is very much a Raven.
That feels right.
Like, that's just such a fit. I haven't really watched him yet. We're still so early. But from what I saw in the college football playoff, that guy just gives off Raven vibes so much. I'm doing that.
Yeah, I like it. I love that.
Which I think really will piss off the Lions because that guy's also very much a Lion.
Okay, Florida State coach Leonard Hamilton will resign at the end of the season. I've thought about it a lot, but I don't know who it's
Detroit.
Detroit?
I could see Scorton maybe.
Another guy that was really impressive when I watched.
Another guy that I know people like is Siobhan Revel. Now they took Terry and Arnold last year, so I'd actually probably not. Demetrius Knight Jr. I do not know who you are, but okay. I could see it. I don't know how good he is.
They could go linebacker round 1.
Well, they're also kind of a best player available team.
Yeah, I feel that.
Well, there's a Michigan guy right here.
I mean, do you think that impacts this?
No, but it doesn't hurt, and it is like it makes sense.
If you want.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
This is a terrible mock draft. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, well.
It's very early in the process.
Matthew Golden to Washington is just like, come on.
That feels like the type of receiver that really works with Jaden.
And the type of receiver they need.
Yeah, it's the type of receiver that would work really well with Jaden in what they want to do.
After trading Myles Garrett to the Buffalo Bills, the Browns are on the clock.
And they've already gone edge.
Yeah. They don't dare take Jackson Dart, do they?
No. By the way, I'm not buying any of that. There was all the Jackson Dart stuff from this week. Nope. I don't buy it. No, I don't think you double down and go 2 edges.
I know that Jahdae Barron is a guy that people like. He's a guy that people like because he has a lot of versatility.
I do think that when you're kind of building up when you're kind of doing an organizational reset, you do want guys with versatility.
Yeah, like this just feels like a great move for them.
Then let's do it.
Yeah. Philly. They have receiver as their top need.
Who would be the highest guy on the consensus media big board? Because that's who Howie would take. Whatever it takes to get that A from Daniel Jeremiah.
That's very true. That is very, very true. But
Who are the Eagles free agents this offseason?
Huh?
Who are the Eagles free agents this offseason?
I don't know.
I think that's what you got to look at.
Let's see.
Sweat.
Josh Sweat. All right, Zach Bond, who is, I mean, they're bringing him back.
They have to bring him back.
Yeah.
Becton.
Brandon Graham's retiring, so it doesn't even matter that he's a free agent. He's retiring.
And he's old.
Yeah.
He's not the.
But so Josh Sweat. Mekhi Becton, who is a guard, their guard.
And Milton Williams is a big one.
Yeah.
So it'll be something in the trenches for sure.
This guy is another guy people really seem to like is Azaraku.
Oh my God, he's incredible.
People love him.
Like, obviously watched a fair amount of BC because like I like it's they are a
people like him.
They are a notable team for the Northeast region of college football. That guy can really play.
People like him a lot. You want to go with him?
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Who are their free agents?
Their free agents are
Justin Reed, Charles Omenihu.
Hopkins, Justin Reed, Omenihu, Hollywood. They have Josh Uche.
Yeah, we traded Uche to them. He didn't do anything.
Nick Bolton.
They got to bring him back.
Yeah. Nick Bolton's the big. Oh my God! Of course, the biggest one. Trey Smith.
Ooh. They could probably. How much cap do they have?
I don't know, but that's gonna be a huge contract. Whether it's by the Chiefs or not, Trey Smith is gonna get a massive deal.
11 million. Do they have any do they have any savings they could make? Not really. None of these guys look like cuttable. None of these guys are really cuttable, I would say.
Yeah.
So guard.
Tyler Booker.
I like it.
All right, there we have it. That is the first Burns and Berman mock draft of the year.
Four guys from a Michigan team that was awful in the first round.
Yeah.
4 guys from a Michigan team that won fewer.
I like it. Good way to start out the draft process. This was fun. Damn, hour 18 is one of our longest shows we've ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you did an hour and a half shows for some reason.
No, we do hour. We do really it's like 40, 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
so this was fun. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
I was originally thinking, hey, maybe I have 30 minutes, but then I decided let's just keep going with that.
This was fun. Yeah. See you guys on Wednesday. Burns will be back on Wednesday. Appreciate Sam tuning in. Coming in, filling in the last second.
Yeah.
But
you got me on a good day because they pushed my my 12:45 class online.
The Roger Goodell State of the League press conference is on. I'm getting a lot of notifications for it, so I'm going to go tune into that right now.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Go Ravens.